Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today, I'll be giving a first-time reaction to an artist named Scott Klopfenstein. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that at least somewhat right. We're going to be checking out Scott's song Welcome to New York for the very first time, and also for this track we're going to be doing a lyrical analysis to hopefully come away with some deeper meaning today. This is a new artist. I've never heard of Scott before, and that doesn't deter me. The entire point of my channel is to discover new music from different eras, different styles, just things that I'm unfamiliar with, and we're going to become better off for it. And today, this new artist is all thanks to Connor the Artful for making this donation request and selection today. Thank you very much, Connor. It is much appreciated. And Connor dedicates this to his dad, who inspired and supported me in my music journey. Shout out to Dad. Now, let's just jump in.
Oh, I packed up suitcases, one for clothes, one for dreams. And on the 5-hour flight, I made my foolproof schemes. That I'd eat the Big Apple, not choke on the seat.
I like that melody.
And they'd name a street.
Powerful bass here, a bright voice, chill acoustic chords.
This was not destined to be. 'Cause every actor, model, musician in the food industry smiles for tips to afford their 300 square feet.
Wow. Because referencing the fact that many of these individuals with very aspirational dreams of being an actor, a singer, a movie star, whatever they want to be, oftentimes they have to work not in the field that they want to, but in the food and service industry to make their living.
Afford their 300 square
and in New York, that means you have no space to live.
Auditions, all they hear is next week.
Oh, that's sad.
So at night they drop to their knees. God, can you still hear me? So welcome to New York, aren't you lonely now?
That falsetto.
Even your gods lost you in the crowd, amongst the sound of 8 million people whose hearts make man's choir. Hope and hopes can reach higher than man can build. On the sidewalks and subways where dreams are for sale.
Dude, I love this melody actually so much. I'm very happily surprised. This is a compliment. This reminds me of Cody Fry. If you know who Cody Fry is, maybe the statement will make some sense. But if you don't know who Cody Fry is, he is, a pop musician who really leans into symphony and composition. He has this very bright, clear voice that I think Scott here also exemplifies. And there's something very bouncy about his vocal delivery that does also remind me of Cody Fry, and all of the surrounding instrumentation supporting his vocal melody rather than overpowering it serves the vocals that much more. And that's why it's so amazing, because I think the chord progressions are already beautiful and they just serve to supplement his amazing voice. Great song so far.
On the sidewalks and subways where dreams are for sale, live the giant-sized judging eyes of those who've yet to fail, staring into the faces behind open guitar cases,
like the buskers, right?
So they can hear past the ringing of the city in their ears.
climactic here.
Even your gods lost you in the crowd, amongst the sound of 8 million people whose hearts make man's choir. Hope and hopes can reach higher than man can bear.
Yeah, this song is so good. Oh my god. I love this like disconnected solo that fits the melody and the progression, but is so bright amongst the acoustic guitar underneath.
So welcome to New York, aren't you lonely now? Even your gods lost you in the crowd, amongst the sound of 8 million people whose hearts make man's choir. Hope and hopes can reach higher than man can build. So welcome to New York and to Angryville. Everyone's laughing and you wonder how could God allow 8 million people with hearts so on fire. Maybe my heart's a liar and a selfish
Holy fucking shit, that was awesome. Dude, this song is perfect. I cannot believe I'm looking at YouTube here. It's criminal. It only has 9.6 thousand views. 9.6K, that is it. For this song to sound this phenomenal, to have this little traction on YouTube, I don't know what is wrong with the world that something like this isn't put out there more. I've never heard of Scott before, but this song was just a banger from top to bottom. Melodically, I mean, I was already kind of sold at the very beginning. It's part of a scale that I'm familiar with. Hearing Scott's vocals, I was already kind of hooked in. But the thing is, with each refrain, with each chorus, the ante was raised. We kept increasing the intensity. The background vocals became louder and also more intense. You could even hear in Scott's vocal delivery the intensity, the grit, the emotion he's feeling, because I'm sure a song like this, it doesn't come from a random place. It comes from experiencing that feeling of almost like being squashed, your dreams, while you're in New York and trying to make it happen, but so much of the world around you is not working in your favor. It's keeping you down, yet you still scream from the rooftops. You busk, you make your records, you make your efforts, and it still may not pan out. And it's the risk when going into fields like this, but also when you are in an emotionally driven field, which art often is, of course. This is what you like to see. This is the true passion from somebody who wants to make it. Let's jump into the lyrics. Oh man, dude, what a good song. And not to mention the guitar solo, which we'll talk about too. On the sidewalks and subways where dreams are for sale, right away, we already getting the vision of New York. We always know in the movies in New York, the bustling streets, the busy subways, the craziness that goes on. Even on like YouTube, you'll see clips of the madness in New York. Live the giant-sized judging eyes of those who've yet to fail. So the dreams that you have when you go to the Big Apple, you want to make it big because that's where all of the opportunity is, but also a lot of people are there are competing with you and are there to judge you rather than uplift you. Staring into the faces behind open, I think this is staring into the faces behind open guitar cases, belting just so they can hear past the ringing of the city in their ears. So the musicians, they're on the street, they're busking, they're trying to make their money, try to make their names more well known, perform for people, right? Show off their talent in a very tangible way. But the city is louder. It's there to oppress the voice. It is there to, cast doubt on your own ability. But you have to be louder despite that. No matter how many people say you can't achieve this dream, you have to achieve it despite all of the detractors, which it sucks because let's say you do inevitably achieve that dream, then people will say, oh, I was there with you since the beginning. I've always been there to support you. When in reality, they were waiting for you at the finish line. It's not fair. It shows you people's true colors. This is why I love YouTube and being able to connect with even just smaller content creators, but people who are authentic and love what they do and just share that love with others. That's what music and art is meant to be, and so often people view it as a literal competition. And maybe that's because of the structure of our society, the way that we have to fight for every dollar, but it makes you think, So welcome to New York. Aren't you lonely now? Even your gods lost you in the crowd, amongst the sound of 8 million people whose hearts make man's choir, hoping hopes can reach higher than man can build, right? This huge place where it feels like, wow, we are in civilization. We should be well connected to one another and uplifting each other. You can feel more isolated than ever with your hopes and dreams. And then just that epic guitar solo that set the precedent for how much more epic the song could become, which I don't know if there were key changes specifically. I would have to play the chords myself and see what was going on there, but at least the ante in terms of his intensity kept increasing. Part of me thinks that there were some modulations too that raised the key, and when you start reaching those higher and higher notes, that may be a better way to do it than to just stay in the same scale. So welcome to New York again. Aren't you lonely now? Get the repetition here. And then here is the variation in the chorus. So welcome to New York, and you're angry now. So in spite of all of the loneliness and being by yourself, now that emotion is kind of changing to anger towards that city because of how you're being so poorly treated. Everyone's laughing, and you wonder how could God allow 8 million people with hearts all on fire? Right? It's not sensible to think if people are there to love one another and uplift each other for God to allow this, because they are doing the exact opposite. And not that the song is about God in a major way, but of course, when you're on your knees begging for something better than what you currently have in this moment, you can kind of become jaded with life because you are putting yourself out there day in, day out, and on the street. Again, there are plenty of videos that show this, and anecdotally, people will say the same, if not more. People get treated terribly just for performing the music that they love. You don't even have to be negative about it. You can just go on your merry way, but oftentimes, instead of even casting a blind eye, people cast a more vindictive eye, which is more problematic and just doesn't sit right with me, because on this channel and in my life, I preach peace, love, positivity. Despite where we are in our lives, despite where another is in their life, it is so important for all of us to try to help each other, try to help one another become the best versions of ourselves. If my dreams are to become a musician, then those who are there to support me should do so. And those who don't like my music can just spend their energies elsewhere rather than being overtly negative and critical for no good reason other than to be critical. And it sounds crazy to say this in the media environment and social media environment that we inhabit, because so much of what online discourse looks like is rage baity, is negative. People can hide behind the wall of anonymity and treat others who are trying to be aspirational in their dreams like dirt. I think it's time we all collectively put a stop to that, but it's going to take one changed mind at a time. But with music like this, I mean, I don't even think you need the logical explanation as to why poor behavior is problematic. You can hear it in the emotion, and God, was this good. So thank you, Connor, for this recommendation today. I do appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed the reaction and listening to Scott alongside me today. If you did and would like to make a reaction request yourself, you can do so by hitting the first link down below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.